All right, I think it's time for coaching. Hey,
Hello.
hey, Quante, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you, man? Good to meet you. Wait, sorry, let me do one thing with my Discord here really quickly. I need to
Yep.
get this audio going. Can you say one more thing?
Yeah, sure. I was
All right,
curious
perfect. Yeah.
if your name is Quanta or Quanti.
I honestly get called everything. I say Quante, but
Oh,
it really doesn't matter. It's very ambiguous.
okay, I'll say Quante.
Quante. Yeah.
Cool.
And I mean, Grubby is pretty easy to pronounce.
Yeah, it's pronounced throat wobbler mangrove
Not too
actually,
sure.
but Grubby's fine.
Oh, okay. That was my second guess, but that was yeah, okay, not too far off.
Cool. Yeah, let's
Okay,
stick with
yeah.
Quante
So
and Grubby. Yeah, nice to meet you. I've watched one of your VODs a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago or so, where you were playing Urgot. People say you're the best Urgot. Your guide has been very
yeah,
helpful.
so appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know if you took a look, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
guess to
sure.
give your viewers some introduction, I'm Quante. I've been playing Urgot for like way too long. I mean, I've been playing way League for even longer. I've been challenger for like since like season 8, just exclusively one tricking this silly Urgot crab champion. So I'm not too shabby at him. I think I know a little bit of what I'm doing. But yeah, and I just excited to meet you and excited to help you out today in this coaching session.
Cool, thanks. Well, I appreciate it. There are a lot of macro decisions. There's also micro mechanical you can help with, no doubt. Itemization. You've
Absolutely,
already
absolutely.
helped with itemization. The matchups has been very helpful, like from your guide. Like I beat my first Yasuo yesterday. Been a lot more
That's not
confident.
an easy matchup. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't that
Yeah.
good, but still.
So do you want me to just screen share through Discord? I was looking
Yes.
at your VOD that you just played versus the Gangplank there. Let me share the
Okay,
screen
let's
then.
start with the most recent one we just played. And you'll screen share and I'll watch along with you. Okay, you're sharing. And then
Sounds
maybe
good,
we
yeah.
can pop over to one of the games from yesterday as well.
So let's just get into straight basics for you for the Urgot champion.
Yep.
I'm sure you've noticed this champion, his entire identity really revolves around hitting his power spikes, which is his level 9, and hitting his Black Cleaver for his item to really get going as a champion.
Right.
So I feel like the way I approach Urgot, and I'll give you this game plan. It's a very structured game plan, and I think Urgot is one of the best champions to climb, especially in lower elo, just because of this game plan. Your game plan is going to be, all I want to do is focus on not falling behind until I'm level 9 and Black Cleaver. And if
Okay.
you can do that consistently, you have a really solid chance of carrying, like, I'd say like 70% of your games. But if you fall behind before then, as I'm sure you've noticed as well, it's kind of hard to stop bleeding as Urgot. Like, if you fall behind, the nature of his kit, he's slow, he always pushes, he's very, like, stat checky, he'll fall even farther behind here. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I had
that's
one
the
game
kind of the
yesterday.
game plan.
I had one game
Yeah,
yesterday
go
where I
ahead.
fell behind, and I seem to remember that from your guide you wanted me to play more like a tank. Actually, your guide didn't cover falling behind. Your guide was like, if you're snowballing against ADC, if you're snowballing against... Yo, what if I'm getting snowballed? What am I going to do? Just roll down the hill?
So, unfortunately, and I say this a lot, I feel like it's really hard to recover from Urgot from behind. If you are behind, for me, it's usually a learning lesson to not get behind in the first place. And
Yeah.
I know that sounds really unhelpful. I know that sounds really unhelpful, but I'll try to show you exactly what I mean here in
Okay.
this replay.
Okay.
So if we go back a little bit, this was pretty unlucky. I mean, I saw this early game you played out. This was a really nice early game. You're abusing the level 1 really strong here, which is good. Of course, you get level 2 gank by Sejuani, which you can't really predict. It's not really your fault. And you do blow your TP here, but I was watching this early game. I saw you played a really solid early game. The one thing, I think it's around a couple of minutes after this play is when I first started to notice some of your mistakes here.
Okay.
So, is there any specific point, by the way, that you wanted to like
Yeah.
recover
Yeah,
for this game, or just like?
If
wanted
I
to
can
go through it?
interrupt for questions, like
Of
for
course,
this one.
yes. Please feel free.
Would
Yeah.
I buy a heal potion here? I've never bought a second red healing potion so far, but it felt right here because I have
Yes.
nothing else.
Yes, you should. You should.
Should-
Just because you have nothing else to do.
Yes, should I buy two?
Yes, I would buy 2 here, just because you have laning pressure. The thing is, you just use your flash and your teleport here, so
Yes.
now you're very vulnerable for a long time. So you want as much juice as you can here to make sure your lane is safe, because if the Sejuani just repeats ganks you here, or you take one bad trade, you're stuck forever in this lane,
Yeah.
or for a long time, because Cheapy still has his teleport up too.
Yeah.
So yeah, two health pots here is good, and then we just continue to play the lane.
Okay.
This is solid. Now, a lot of the times for that level 2 gank you just had to deal with, you'll want to ward early game if they're a level 2 ganking jungler. This game, that Sejuani was being a little weird. Like it's a really weird for this to join the level 2 gank, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I
So
think
let's
he's
see.
a
This is
fan
the
of the
first
stream.
mistake, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was really good. This is not the first mistake. This was the really good play that I was talking about. You pulled a wave here.
Oh, by the way,
I really like this.
sorry, can we put a pin in this? We're at 3:11.
Yeah.
Can we go back
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the first wave? Actually,
Of course.
thank you.
Absolutely.
In the first wave,
Sure.
I tried to do the thing where I zone. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
So we had the little trade. I tried to set up, and I'm trying to zone him from XP from the first 3 melee creeps, the
Mhm.
melee minions. But then
Correct.
something
Yep,
weird
very good.
happens because I issue an attack on him. Okay, first. Okay, he's out of range of XP. Now they're getting closer. Oh,
Yeah,
this.
so I can tell you Yeah.
I issued an attack on him, so the range creeps got mad, and they aggroed on me, which pulled the 2 footmen closer, the 2 melee creeps, which actually allowed him to be in XP range.
Yeah.
This was sad.
Mm-hmm. So this mistake comes down to this click back here. So if you go to this play, this is really good.
Yeah.
We're in the sequence. You need to be standing a little closer to him. Like you need to be standing here.
Okay.
That way you're out of the minion range here. If you hit him here, he walks up. Can you see my arrows by the way?
Yeah,
my
I
drawing?
see it. It works well. Nice.
Okay, cool.
And you need to tell me
if he walks up here.
You need to tell me, please, how to get this this drawing later on Discord, if you don't mind.
Oh, this is it's called Epic Pen. Yeah, I'm just using
Okay.
a tool.
Alright.
It's not on Discord. But basically what it is that you're just too close to these minions so that if you hit it, if he walks up here and you trade back, these minions see it and they aggro you.
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to be like here. This
Okay.
way you're not in tower range and you're too far from the minions, so if he walks up, you can trade. Another thing about this play that you need to be careful of. Go ahead. Yeah, if you had a question, please go.
Will I still get XP from those melee creeps from him?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Can you
just
draw
gotta
the
make sure that
XP
you're like,
range? Can you draw the edge
yeah,
of XP range in
the
your
XP
estimation?
range, it's gonna be like right here, exactly. Like if
Really?
you're standing here, you'll get XP, but he won't.
Okay,
Like
but
I would say like right here.
Okay, but then I will draw range creep aggro.
You won't, because if you're like you actually walk to the spot correctly. Like let me see how he plays out. When you first auto attack him here, if you're standing like here, you won't get creep aggro, and it's just like a very unfortunate because you're barely in the range of these creeps, but
Yes.
you're still in the range, and this is kind of like a small knowledge thing. If you were standing like here, you would have
Okay.
been fine.
Okay.
And
Actually,
another thing you can do is if you're
Will the range creeps turn around now, actually? Because I just autoed him. It looks like they're not turning around. Yeah, so I was
they're actually not turning,
Oh,
but
wait.
now they see it. Yeah.
Wait, why are they initially not proccing on the auto attack? And then when I flip him and hit him again, then they do. Look, don't turn.
I'm actually
E.
I think it's because this auto here. Like
Yeah,
now he's in the range too. This auto here.
I'm further, but
'Cause I
he's
think-
closer.
Yeah.
So they listen
So
either
what-
to victims or perpetrators. Like if I'm the perpetrator and I'm near, then they listen. But if he's the victim and he's near them, then they listen to that too.
So what actually happens is that I think GP is too far away here for them to get aggro, right? Like the minions, they see you, but GP is too far. He's not in their range, so he's not actually considered aggro. This is some same logic you can use when you're using on towers. Like the towers won't hit you if you hit them from like they're too far away from the tower, but you're in tower range. So what's gonna actually happen here is you don't get aggro on this auto because the GP's out of range, but then you flip him. Now the minions see you guys, right?
Why? I'm
now
in his
when you hit
place.
him- Well, you're just in range of the minions here. That's just how the minions range works.
But I just eat him. Am I not standing where he was? Or am I slightly closer?
It's a little finicky just because you're on such close range of being perfectly in or out of the range of the experience of the minions here. It's like very small. And then when you auto him here, you see you auto him right there. Then this gets you the aggro. If you go back here, when you first autoed him, the range is a little bit farther, and that actually matters here. Like when he walks up here to get the
Yes.
aggro from the minions, he's a little bit farther back. His minions don't see him, so they don't trigger that he's getting attacked here. Like when he walks up here, I believe, and he goes for the auto. Like you auto him here, you see this minion range. It's pretty long,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm closer
pretty
than
long
he
line.
is now.
Yeah, but then you
after
flip
this.
him, and you see like it's not as long anymore, right?
Okay,
This is
okay.
like in range now. This is in range to like spot you, and like if they see him specifically getting hit here.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But the biggest part is, honestly, that's a pretty small detail that we're focused on. I'd say the most important thing here is that you actually flip him into the XP range, which is something you really want to avoid doing. So
Okay.
actually what I do a lot of the times when I'm doing for this cheese, because like if you flip him here, he gets closer to the XP, right? If you
Yeah.
flip him. What I do here is oftentimes I'll like to approach from like the side, like I'll walk up like this, or I'll walk up like this. That way I can kind of flip them like horizontally. So that way I can still trade with them and like keep them here or push them even like farther back. That way I don't flip them into the XP range. You know?
That's
so
really good.
I'll like walk up this way and trade instead. That's why I can flip him this way instead.
Yeah.
And that way I can deny him XP. The case here, you're just a little too close to the minions, and so they draw aggro. And that's actually really important because these creeps barely live, right? So he actually gets the XP on some of them, which is a really big deal here.
Oh yeah, they stop.
So this is unfortunate.
They stop hitting the
yeah,
melees
they aggro you, right?
Yes.
So these live at 1 XP, 1 HP. So he actually gets the experience from them, and then the Sejuani comes and it's annoying. But yeah, the thought was really good.
Yeah, this is the second game in 99 ranked that I get ganked at 212 instead of 3 minutes or 3:30 or not at all. So
it's very rare.
This ruins his game a bit, right?
It does ruin his game because you see your Udyr is like full clearing this entire time, so he's got all these camps to farm. This guy went from like, I don't know what he took, but he went from like this buff to here, then he's gonna walk back and continue clearing. Udyr will be significantly ahead of him. However, this is like, honestly, I don't know what elo like this really happens. I would say level 2 ganks are very uncommon nowadays just because they're so punishable.
Yeah.
And they need to be like specific junglers to pull them off, and I don't think Sejuani is one of them. So he doesn't even kill you, so his game is screwed now, and you are just chilling here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skill build wise, we can look at it now and then. I used to always do 1-5-2, but I saw Tyler do a lot of max Q and 1 in E. I don't know how you build.
So Tyler has a very, and I'll give you my take on this. Tyler has a very interesting build where he does Q max into lethality. I think if you're really trying to climb in League, the most consistent way to build Urgot is W max, with Black Cleaver Rush.
Okay, I don't fully understand the W rush.
Yeah, so basically, I saw you do it too. You know the toggle that you can do once you get W maxed?
Yes.
It's a big DPS increase for Urgot. So Urgot's issue as a champion in lane is that he has pretty bad short trades versus a lot of the meta champions. And he also has really bad long trades, which means he can't really flip in aggressively because then they'll use, a lot of champions can just run Urgot down if he flips in aggressively. Like you flip in one time and then you die. And then you're like, how did I die? You're just too weak as a champion until you're 9 and level Black Cleaver. So because he can't flip in, he has bad short trades and bad long trades, which means even if you put points in Q during lane, they don't really give you the juice to be able to beat a lot of the meta champions in the first place, even with Q max. So each point in Q scales linearly, like it will give you good damage and good presence in lane. And putting points in W doesn't really do much, but that last point in W, when you finally get it maxed out, then it becomes super upgraded. Because then you have infinite W, you have the toggle as well, and now you have the ability to do really nice long trades. Like you can take trades forever now because your W lasts forever. So you have really long, good long trades, which lets you really take the fight to a lot of the meta top lane champions.
So you actually
I personally prefer W.
You play level 2 to 8, or let's say 3 to 8, far more. Yeah, let's say you're level 3 to 8. You're really embracing the philosophy of waiting. You're essentially teching towards Black Cleaver and level 9.
Yes.
Because
Urgot's level 1 early game really strong.
Yeah, level 1 is strong, level 2 is strong, and then level 3, if you don't get a second point in Q, then you start getting a skill that doesn't give you as much. You get some PTA, some press the attack from the low level W, but you really are just safe farming, trying to control the lane, control the wave, don't get ganked, don't fall behind. But you're not really trying to make a lot of plays happen anymore. That's your philosophy. It may not be other people's philosophy.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like in terms of just like climbing in League, I say overall, just for League in general, the most important thing is consistency, right? And I'm sure you know this being crazy good at other games. Consistency is so key in League to just climbing. Like some games, you'll have a good play, but it still won't be the correct play. And this is why I think Urgot is perfect for climbing, especially if you're in like lower elos.
Yes.
His game plan can just be so easily consistent. Strong early game. Get behind them, fight just like you did this game. Try to get out as much advantage as you can from that early game. And then using that strength from the early game, those spikes you get, the levels 3 to 8, then you just play a slow game. You use your range, farm up. You're not looking to kill. Like if you can set up a gank, if they fumble, yeah, you can look to trade, you can look to kill. But your primary goal, the goal that you're keeping in your head at all times is I just don't want to die. I just want to go even. And then once I'm 9, once my cleaver, I'm gonna flip a switch, then I can go crazy. Because if you fight from levels 3 to 8, yeah, you can win. You know, maybe you're better than them, you skill check them, maybe you get lucky. But it's not consistent, right? It's just not a consistent plan to think you can, or a realistic plan to think you can just beat people at those timers. Because you're just not a strong champion compared to them. So my game plan, I just take it easy. You know, I chill, I farm up. It's consistent, it's easy to do, it's replicatable. And then once I'm 9, then I turn on the heat, then I fight. And I find that majority of the games, if I can get to my 9, if I can get to my Black Cleaver without falling behind, I don't need to be ahead, but just not behind, I have a very high chance of carrying those games, because now when I fight them, I'm just so much stronger. It's more realistic, it's more favorable to me if I take these fights, so I like the risk versus reward of these plays. I like the consistency of taking the fights after I'm strong.
Okay.
And that's what I mean, because Urgot just has very clear power spikes. Like, a lot of champions, their power spikes kind of come interchangeable with like just playing well, like outplaying, you know, just like having good movement, dodging abilities. But Urgot's a very simple champion. You hit E, you win. You miss E, you usually lose. So at 9, you just play for that. Like, you have a clear power spike. Level 9, Black Cleaver, clear power spike. You know, level 13, clear power spike. Your legs go to 2.5 seconds, so you have a lot of legs up. Just stuff like that. Just clear power spikes that Urgot can play to, and that's what I really like.
Okay, I understand your philosophy for him. That's very useful to have as a backdrop to frame the rest of what we'll be going through. Yeah. Would you ever alternate? Do you always? Oh, rune page wise, I've seen some variances. I think I've decided to skip trying to understand your rune pages so far, so as to not complicate it. But I'm guessing you use like 2 to 3 different secondary pages.
I use primarily one rune page right now, and that's free boots and approach velocity, just because I think it gives Urgot a lot of mobility, which is the stat that he lacks.
Yeah, and because you are not trying to win at level 3 to 8, you don't need second wind or the armor.
I don't think it does that much for you. Yeah, I don't think it does that much for you to do those. Because Urgot is a very, like, if you've probably noticed, he's a very reactive champion. You know, he's slow. He can't really force plays. If the enemy wants to run away, they can just run away from him. He literally slows himself while hitting them, you know? So my philosophy for Urgot is that, like, stuff that gives him movement speed is really premium. So, like, items that give him movement speed, anything that gives him movement speed, turning him into more of a proactive champion instead of a reactive champion just fundamentally changes how he can play. You know, there's nothing scarier than a fast crab just running at you that's, like, fed. Because if he can get on top of you, you're dead. But the issue, of course, is getting on top of the person, right? It's very hard to do so without your flash up. So I take approach velocity for the extra movement speed when you hit the Q to be able to hit your flip after that slow. And then I take free boots because that really synergizes with his pattern of rushing cleaver. Like, it lets you rush cleaver. Plus, free boots gives you 10 additional movement speed than regular boots does. So it's a pretty nice item for Urgot. Yeah, it gives you 10, I think. Is it 5? I'm not sure, actually.
I think it's 5. I might be wrong. But I thought it was...
I think it's 10.
Really?
It's 10. It's 10, yeah.
Oh my god, that's really
Which
good.
is really nice, yeah.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah, it's really
10
nice.
Great.
Like, it's 300 gold and then 10 additional movement speed, which is, of course, great on Urgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was watching your game, and I'm just going to tell you the 2 strategies I use the most to get through that levels to 3 to 8 without falling behind, and that's something you should always consider. You always either want to be freezing the wave or slow pushing it. Okay. If the enemy is in lane, always freeze or slow push. Primarily, always try to freeze.
Until what minute?
Until level 9. Until level 9, then you can start going aggressive, right? Because it goes back into that mindset mentality of being like, oh, I just want to be able to scale, you know? I don't want to fight. I want to be safe. I want to get my farm. I don't care about getting ahead. I just want to go even at the minimum. So I'm always playing to freeze because freezing will do 3 things for you. It will make them vulnerable to a gank. It will make you less vulnerable to a gank. And 3, it will let you farm in safety because they can't threaten to, like, all in or run you down.
Okay, slow push. And then, how do I set up a slow push? I understand roughly what a freeze... I mean, I understand what a freeze is. Not all freezes remain constant when I do them, because I might be zoning him and out-CSing him. Then I'm hitting, and then eventually I start getting a slow push. Then I need to crash it, correct? But how do I start building up to a slow push and know 2-3 waves in advance that I'm going to be doing that?
Yeah, so the slow push will usually come after one wave crashes into the other, right? So if the enemy has crashed a big wave into your tower, right? And the wave starts stacking up your tower. So I guess we can show you here. Like, this wave is crashing in, on the spot.
Yes.
He's pushing this wave in here. It's stacking up.
I'm keeping it out.
This is good. We play for the freeze. Yeah. So one thing here, I'll just tell you quickly, is that when you're playing for this freeze, you really want to try to avoid taking damage here. One, just because you don't need to trade with him, right? He has this big wave, so fighting with him plus this wave, it's already hard in the first place.
Yes.
Your primary goal is to just hold the freeze here, so you don't need to actually do that much damage. You can throw out a Q, and then you just want to hold it here and be annoying. But extending this trade into the wave, you take a lot of damage here. Just a small point. Like you take half your health bar here that you don't need to take. You're just playing for the freeze.
I should just be dancing on the edge and then use my second E when it comes up again to do another shield for the holding the creeps there. Or
perfect.
Not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Just you're not trying to engage with him. Like never looking to do a fight. Don't want him to pop a barrel or get his passive proc on you. You're just trying to hold the wave here to freeze it.
Yeah.
So
now I have a slow push because.
Wait, yes. I hear now you would have a slow push because. Sorry, that was my sub sound. I apologize for that. Sorry.
It sounded like your voice. That guy takes fucking Urgot.
No, it was Whippo. It was Whippo's voice.
Okay.
So yeah, you do have a slow push now, right? And so in an ideal world, if you don't take that trade and you're full HP again, this wave, it's pretty equal, right? Equal minions, 5 to 5 minions, right?
Yeah.
So pretty much even wave here. And it's on your side, right? So if it's on your side, this next wave comes faster, arrives than his wave. So this wave will stack up and it will slowly push into him. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were full HP here and you had the ability to play the slow push, all you gotta do is you just sit here and you put your body on the wave, and because usually by the time this wave plays out, you'll have a bigger minion wave, you just sit there and you just last hit. That's all you do. Don't hit the wave. Make sure he can't hit the wave back to make it smaller, and you just sit there and thin the wave, and you just last hit the wave, and eventually, because you're only last hitting, it stacks up bigger and bigger. This wave arrives, and then if you're just only last hitting, taking a long time, maybe the next wave arrives too, and then suddenly you have a big wave, right?
Okay.
And then using that big wave, this is what will allow you to be able to successfully crash waves without dying against hard matchups. I don't know if you've experienced this, but like when you are trying to like crash the wave or they're like freezing it around you, like over here maybe, it's really hard to do so as Urgot because they can just trade with you and they're stronger than you usually. So you really want to get a slow push. Yeah, you want to get a slow push, stack a big of wave as possible, and then you can use that big minion wave to kind of deter him from fighting you because it's too big of a wave to fight in. But if you kind of like, regardless if you're healthy or like say you were healthy, if you don't have a big wave, it's hard to crash the wave, you know?
Yeah.
And like, so now this should be a slow push, right? Like it's slowly pushing back to him. You got 2 creeps here. Your wave arrives first. You see how it's like stacking up now? Now you have a bigger wave than he does. So if we ignoring the fact, like pretending that you're higher HP here, because you have this big wave, he can't fight you. So what you could do is like you could like stand in the bush here, and you could just use your body and like threaten him. You know, like don't let him walk up. You have a big wave. You have the bush. You can kind of just like push him off, force him to respect you because of these win cons that you have: the wave, the bush, and pretending that you're high health, right?
The
and
bush
then
here.
Using that.
The bush here is better because number 1, it occludes vision. Number 2, it's relatively near the wave. And number 3, it's further from ganking angle.
Yes. So here, if you take the bush, like what will allow you to do is, for 1, GP can't just Q you to the head and poke you down infinitely. And 2 is, if you take the bush kind of like here, you can kind of push him back this way. You see how he's like walking this way because you're here? You know, he's respecting your line. There's always this distance between you guys that he's kind of respecting.
Yeah.
And so because you're all the way back here, he can kind of walk up here. And what this lets him do is he can thin the wave now, right? Like, I mean, he can do the same thing to you here because you're higher HP. So this is kind of like the best example. But if you're high HP here, then he can look to thin out the wave if you're respecting him. And he can make this slow push turn just back into a neutral wave. So your goal right now is using your big wave. You really want to stop him from hitting the wave. So let's go back a little bit.
Okay, first of all,
you want to stop him from hitting this wave.
I don't think he's thinking about that at all, by the way. I don't think people at this level are, but I do want to think about it.
That's true, yeah.
But,
that's true.
So what you're saying is that people, of course, at higher level, they anticipate the slow push into a gigantic crash. So their goal is to thin out oppressive waves.
Yeah. League and top lane in general is all about the waves, right? It's about the wave and getting to crash your wave. That's what sets up ganks. That's what sets up freezes. That's what sets up all-in timers. You know, if you have a frozen wave, if you have a bad wave state, you're vulnerable to a gank. You're vulnerable to an all-in, all that kind of stuff. So the main goal as a top laner, and especially as Urgot, especially before you're level 9 and you have your W maxed out with my playstyle, you just want to make sure your wave crashes. Because if your wave crashes, you're safe. You know, you can let the next wave bounce back to you, and it will push into you no matter what, because you crashed the wave. You can just stand back. You don't have to fight. You don't have to overextend for jungle ganks. You can just stand back, let it crash, and then let the next wave bounce back into you. That's why it's called the bounce back.
Yeah.
However, here, like, because we just took too much damage on that trade earlier, freezing the wave, our game plan is the same, right? We want to slow push this big wave. We want to crash this wave, and then we want to let the next wave bounce back into us so that we can eat for free, stand back, you know, do all sorts of stuff. But because we took too much damage, we are in this position where we can't crash the wave, right? And like, this is like the entire point of top lane. You need to crash the waves to be able to pilot your champions. So you're too low. We can't crash this wave. And now, because of what happens, this is a freeze for gangplank. So now you're going to be bleeding XP this entire time. So this is bad for you now. So I think on Urgot, it's really important to plan your game plan ahead of time. Like, you always got to be thinking like one wave, at least one wave to like 1 minute in advance here. So like right here, what's my goal? My goal is to freeze on this wave, and that way I can be safe until I hit my power spikes. I can maybe get gold for my black cleaver, because this is another thing I want to talk about. We're really close to cleaver gold here, right? And we have teleport up to reset for it. So that's the thing we should be playing for. We're not playing to all in. We're not playing to fight, right? Keeping in mind with Urgot's power spikes, we want to hit our 9. We want to hit our power spikes, our level 9, our black cleaver, then we can look to fight. But right now, that's not our primary goal. We can hold a freeze here, that's nice, but we're not looking to overtrade. And not having that goal in mind, it makes us take too much damage here. Which eventually bites us in the ass 30 seconds to a minute later, right? Because now we're in this spot. And now he can kind of zone us off, do things, and if we take this fight, it's very risky, because not only are we weaker 1v1, but we're Sejuani, right? And this guy's been like kind of fanboying you the entire game, right? Like, he could just pop up here, you have no vision in the river, right? This is what I mean, like, you're vulnerable to everything. You're vulnerable to the 1v1, you're vulnerable to the jungle gank, you're vulnerable to like the minion wave states, you know, all these things. So these are like just things you want to be playing out ahead of time if you possibly can. And so the counterplay to this is just you want to be healthier here, and that way you can stack a bigger wave in the middle, right? Like, you last hit here, like you only last hit these creeps, then this wave arrives, it's in the middle of the lane, so you're not that in danger to a gank, right? You're not like over here, like under his tower, where this Sejuani can just come and collect a free pile of gold on you. So this is pretty safe from the gank. You have your minion wave to deter the gangplank from trying to fight you. The only issue is you're low. So if you are healthy here, your game is really chilling. And another thing I wanted to bring out is that you're sitting on cleaver gold right now, right? You have your full item here, and you have your teleport up to reset for it.
It's 60-50,
right? It's 3,000 gold total, and you definitely have more than 3,000 gold with pickaxe, longsword, and ruby crystal.
3,875.
Yeah, you're probably like 1,300 gold off, something like that. So you definitely have the gold for it, plus more, right?
I have 308 gold extra,
Right, so again, it's all about planning like 30 seconds in advance, and this is so important on Urgot, just because he's such a volatile champion. He's so easy to gank, you know, and he's really weak when he falls behind. It comes back to just trying to not fall behind in the first place, right? So even on this wave, the best play for you right now, knowing all these factors, you're low, you don't know where Sejuani is, it's actually just base here, right? Because if you try to shove this, what do you think would happen if you try to shove this, right? Like, if you try to just brute force this wave in.
I think he casts an ult and a spell on me, probably. I mean,
like, you could win this.
Yes, maybe.
You could win this. It's just unlikely, right? Because he's higher health. I'm not saying you couldn't win this, because I guess you do have a bigger wave, and you're not that much lower to him. But the risk versus reward of this, right? Is it likely you can kill him? It's about like 50-50, I'd say, you know?
I feel like it's higher than that.
It's a little bit. But then also, you got to factor, where is the jungle, you know? This guy's also an unknown factor here. So all these factors, it's just, this play is too risky. For me, personally, I have my teleport up, I have my black cleaver and base, I'm just going home here, right? I'm just pressing base in this bush. I'm sacking like 1-2 XP for a better lane state overall. Because if I just go home here, I sack 1-2 XP, that's minimal, right? That's like nothing. And then I come back to lane full HP with cleaver, and then I can just take this gangplank to the fucking pound town. I don't even care if Sejuani ganks. I'm so strong I can 2v1 them on that spike. But here, we're just kind of like, we're not thinking about that. Like, we could have based here, you know? Like, the thing is, this is a push into him, but he thins the wave out here, so he actually pushes it back into you. So if you just think, like, just imagine this entire time, like, you go into this bush right here, right? 1209, just imagine you press base here.
Okay, 12 or
Right?
9.
You're basing here.
12, 17, and then
12, 17, right? You're home.
12, 22.
You're home now.
Let's say 12, 24, I'm back.
Yes, right? You're already back. Like,
I'm
you're already TP
physically
back the lane here,
Yeah.
and you would have a freeze as well, right? So it's just like, these small things, they really add up. Like, you could have been back your full HP with Cleaver, you got a freeze for yourself, your Udyr is on your side of the map to punish the freeze too.
And my teleport
He's right here,
starts,
he's watching for the gank.
My teleport starts to run cooldown again. Because right now I'm
Yeah, right, so
wasting,
so many advantages.
I'm wasting teleport cooldown regeneration
That-
right now.
That part's not as big, but you see, by greeting so much, now you lose your timer, right?
But you call this greeting?
You had a timer to base.
You could argue
recall
that
was
getting...
good.
You could, no. Did you say by greeting so much?
Oh yeah, because you missed your timer here to base. So,
But
like,
is
you're
that
saying, you're actually
greed
not
or
greeting.
just... Is it greed
No, it's
or
not
stupid?
greed.
Because technically getting my
It's-
cleaver earlier could be a form of greed too, right?
No, it's not greed, it's not stupidity, it's just lack of preparation. You know, you're not thinking about, like, how to be able to be as strong as possible at every time. Like, you had a base timer there, but we
Yeah.
just didn't see it, which is fine, right? You're new to the game. And because of that, we're dead. Like, even if we're not dead 1v1, the Sejuani's here now, right? You
Yeah.
lost your timer for the gank. The Udyr was looking, but we missed it because we didn't go home. We weren't strong enough, right? So now we lost our timer. We're still stuck in lane here, and the Sejuani is going to dive us. Even if we don't die to this 1v1, we're dead to the Sejuani, right? We're too low. We're just dead. We didn't prepare our game ahead of time. We weren't thinking enough in advance here, and that, like, bites you in the ass a lot in League. So, and this is not really like a fault or issue. This is just game knowledge, right? It's just, you need to, like, go through these scenarios to really understand how, like, it affects you not preparing your game in advance here.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes,
that's
I-
just
I-
one small thing.
I get this visualization that at the low leagues, people try to swim in the wave, and then at the middle league, people try to surf the wave, but like you are making the waves at the high leagues.
Yes.
Like I
You
play the wave
control the
as
waves.
I play the wave
Yeah.
as I see it, and I try to think which of the strats shall I use now. But
Yes,
There's a lot of-
100%.
it's a lot of planning that can go into it.
It is, and that's really what makes League a challenging and such a knowledge-gated game. You kind of just gotta know what to do in, like, every different situation, like different wave states, jungle's here, jungle's not here, are you low, that kind of thing. But yeah, you're completely right. A lot of lower elo players will just autopilot the wave. They'll just, like, auto hit it. They're not thinking about what they do. They just see the wave they hit, they see the enemy, they trade. But a big tip I can give you, and especially for Urgot, just because he's so weak in lane, don't play the 1v1, don't play the trades, play the waves for a win con. You know, playing the 1v1, it's not impossible, and if you're better than your opponent, you can, of course, win if you're just better and you skill check them. Like, dodge their abilities, etc., you know, play better than them, of course you can win. But if you're versed, like, people of, like, your equal skill, like, you're not smurfing or anything, you'd say you're, like, just newer to the game or the champion, it's much more consistent to not, like, try to brute force the 1v1, and play your waves, play for the freeze, you know, play to set up a jungle gank. There's a lot of different win cons in League that aren't the 1v1, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize this. So many ways, especially in top lane, that are not only more consistent to win the 1v1, to win top lane, but way easier to do so. You know, it's way easier to just hold the freeze and play the waves than it is to, like, try to out-stat check an opponent, you know, dodge abilities, outplay them, that kind of thing. And especially on Urgot, who's just weak as a champion, it doesn't have crazy outplay potential in lane. That's generally the strategy I'm playing for to scale to my power spikes, to hit my spikes, to go through lane, not behind or even ahead.
I think it's good for me to start practicing this wave win condition. It is a little difficult to feel like I need to do that right now, because I feel like everything you said, most of it doesn't apply yet, because I can tell basically from level 1 who I'm gonna kill, because I see their movement in play. Like, I knew I'm stronger than this guy, for instance, and that I will win even if I trade all through level 3 to 8. However, then it may not be true once you this was really it's very ironic for this to happen right after I say that, but this is in the past, of course. But then sometimes I'm like, well, I got camped by the jungler. But of course, if I play the wave correctly, that's less likely to even hurt.
Yes. So yeah, it's just the thing is, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, lower elos players don't play the wave as much. They don't think about that, and you're definitely more likely to fall behind at certain points. But as Urgot, I just think the best way to improve is to not focus on the games where you fall behind, but focus on the original symptom, like not the band-aid fix of it, which is like maybe you die, but like what was the original problem? Did I not take a base timer here when I should have, and I had to stay in lane low? Did I greed my tempo? Did I not push fast enough? That kind of thing. And was my wave frozen because of that? Those are really important like decisions to make for Urgot. And I just like Urgot because he's a champion that will really teach you the fundamentals of top lane. You really have to know waves. You'll have to understand wave management. Just because he's so vulnerable, you know, if you auto push the lane, you're very easy to gank. It's hard to live ganks, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess now we can go into kind of like telling you how to snowball through the game. I think you had a question on this, like how do you play the mid game here, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the macro to win games, right?
Yes.
So my strategy.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go. Please go ahead.
I don't play with my team for objectives until like minute 20. Unless by some coincidence, I managed to be allowed to come help for the Void Grubs, which is less than 1 in 20 games, I would say. Maybe less than 1 in... I mean, I've only had 42 games apparently on Urgot. But I will say probably I helped with the Void Grubs 3 times in that time. And then when it comes to the Rift Herald, again, completely by coincidence, now I'm allowed to. But I don't prepare and plan for it yet. When would I need to start setting up the wave in a different way than what is strictly speaking the optimal location?
So, the first thing before I answer those questions that you have to consider is what is your role as Urgot in the mid game? You are a side laner. He's a good champion because he's one of the few champions that is a really good side laner and also a really good team fighter. He can do both.
Really?
But Urgot's main priority, he can do both very well. Urgot's main priority is he wants to play team fights. I was watching this game and I feel like you played side a lot. And I actually think there was many points where if you just grouped, you could have been the deciding factor in these fights. But yes, Urgot's main strength actually is his team fight.
I thought it was bad to team fight.
No. Urgot wants a team fight. The thing is, you're thinking of it in a different way. It's a situational thing. I noticed you said I only want to start grouping after 20 minutes, right?
No.
That's not the way you should be thinking of it.
I didn't say I want to. I said this is something I've noticed.
Okay. Well, the way you should be thinking of it is, I want to fight when I'm strong. And how do you define strong as Urgot? For team fighting, you want to have 1, your flash up, and you 2 want to usually have Sterix up. If you have both of those conditions, like you have your Sterix and you have your flash up, then you really want a team fight because you are so strong in the mid game, especially if you haven't fallen behind. On your Black Cleaver, on your Sterix, and with your flash, Urgot is probably the best team fighting champion in the game because he's too tanky to one-shot. He provides insane utility in CC with his fear, much less the ability to flash fear the enemy team. And the E flip as well is just a really strong win con. So the way I approach the mid game as Urgot is I will put myself in the side lane and I will just continue to farm, right? He needs his levels and he needs his item spikes, like I said earlier. So you just want to farm for them. You put yourself in the side lane, and usually by now you're stronger than the enemy top laner, so you can always eat the wave first before they can. You eat the wave, and then you look to hover team fights, or you look to eat jungle camps. That's how I always approach it. So you see here how you're splitting, right? Like you get the wave in. And then you should be looking to team fight here. So like, I think this fight was winnable, by the way. I mean, maybe it's not won, and you kind of have to make a judgment call. So this is a little bit hard to decide.
I think we win this for sure.
Taking this tower is fine. Yeah. I think the tower is fine, though. This is a fine trade because you get the tier 2 tower here. But after this tower, I think you can TP here, but you don't.
Now?
If you look at them, like, I think you look at them in a second here. The thing is, you need to be looking, right? Like, you need to make a decision. Like, I think if you teleported here, this could have been a winning team fight.
Even though
like the Fizz right here, I think so. Because just because you're strong, you're not like super strong. You don't have Flash and Sterix, but they're pretty low. And you took the tower. But again, it could be the right play to TP here. I need to see more of the fight, but it could also be the right play to push. I think here you could TP in. Yeah. No, I think you could TP in here.
What the fuck? Why? Because Malzahar's dead. Whoever the guy on the left is dead. It looks like Kai'Sa's gonna die.
You don't know this, but GP is basing right now, right? So GP's in base here, but he's off the map. The Fizz also super low basing.
I saw
their
that.
Malzahar, Udyr dead. right? You have your Kais is dead, only your Nami's up here. But these guys have probably, after this fight, right? Like, there's nothing for you to take. It's very unlikely you can take this whole tower. Right?
I don't think I'm going to take it.
Make,
I'm here
so
to
you got to make
weaken
two
it.
decisions here.
Yes.
You either are backing off and taking all this guy's jungle camp's top lane here.
Yes.
Or you're 3 choices. Or you're basing, resetting, buying your Sterix, then playing drag immediately. Yes. Or 3, you're teleporting behind them here. So the actual decision isn't the point of what I'm trying to make here. It's just the knowledge of your choices here. So you need to be looking, right?
I have 4 decisions. I can take jungle, I can recall, I can teleport into the fight at any point in the last 30 seconds or now. Or I can stay here, do chip damage that does not...
true.
Yeah, but it does not advance my current...
Decisions.
It doesn't advance my current
Yes.
gold count because I know Fizz is teleporting, so I know I'm not going to get it.
Yes. You're not taking this tower in time. Gangplank is basing. Fizz is also basing, and I think Gangplank comes out here shortly. So at the very least, you need to be like looking bot lane, seeing if you teleport or not. Regardless if you teleport, that's up to you. That's your decision.
Sure.
I personally think you can here, just because I think it's playable.
I think it's too
late. But if you don't want to, that's
fine. I feel like I'm going to get CC'd, and then I'll be on the same side of the map as my allies.
And that's totally fine. And you don't have to teleport. That's a totally fine decision. I agree with that decision as well. Like, you could have maybe earlier, but now I think it's too late. The thing is, you don't want to be hitting this, though, because this doesn't advance you at all. All of this jungle is up. Also, you have Sterix in base, and Dragon is up too.
Oh, yeah.
So you either want to be taking these camps, accelerating your gold lead, or preparing for the next team fight. Actually, again, this kind of just goes back to 30 seconds in advance always. Got to be thinking of your next play.
Right. Yeah, if I teleport now, I am actually preventing Drake and Atakan, even if I don't kill anyone. I'm probably not
the issue with teleporting
either.
now is that it's just hard because your team died. So you had, I think, like a timer that maybe you could have considered to teleport, but you don't have to teleport. It's just the option.
Can you rewind to your ideal teleport time?
Yeah,
like,
I think
to the second.
After you take this tower, you for sure are always taking this tower just because it's so valuable and so much gold. But now you can look. Like, now you can look.
Pause.
Right. The thing is,
now
your team is alive. Yes.
Without
now you should at least consider it.
Without taking the rest of the creeps.
Oh, you can go to the web. You can go to the web. Sorry, but like the thing is, like, it's hard to make a choice because you need to actually see what's going on here. I don't actually get to see their health, but you should be looking. Like, you need to be looking, right? Like, you need to be assessing it. The point of my this spiel here is not that, like, oh, you should have teleported in here. It's that you need to be considering your options. Like, you should be looking, thinking, should I teleport in here? What should I be doing? Right? Like, right here, this looks kind of playable.
Can I TP
like,
to the
here, right?
Can I TP to the Scuttle Crab vision?
No, you cannot. No.
But I have vision next to Fizz, and I have vision next to the level 12 rooted champ.
Yep. There's a ward here. There's a ward here. You don't see GP. You can assume he's probably basing for you. You see the Fizz basing here low. You see the Mel low here. Even if you can't like win this fight, you can maybe save these guys, and then maybe because you save them, you get Dragon as well. But it's just like the principle of just looking at these fights, thinking, do I teleport in here? Do I push? Do I eat camps? That kind of thing. And so in this scenario, right, you have many plays just because you have so much gold, you have teleport up, and no one's here to fuck with you right now. So your play, like I said, is either eat jungle camps or reset, buy Sterix, move onto the map again, or even just go home, buy Sterix, teleport here. If we're really playing in advance, right? If we're really, really thinking about it in advance, as soon as you take this tower, channel base, go home, buy your Sterix, and then maybe the play is still TPable after that 8 seconds or whatever, how much time you take, yeah? Like, just to, like, cover the options. It's about, like, risk versus reward at the end of the day. What's the reward of you pushing this wave and hitting this tower for, like, a fifth of its HP?
Personal
basically
satisfaction.
Nothing. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything to the game. Makes you feel a little bit better, but not really anything crazy, you know? But then maybe you take a base here. You are 5 seconds ahead of tempo. You're already home here. You have your Sterix. You're looking at this fight. You're preparing yourself 30 seconds in advance to be at this fight as strong as possible. So, and you did this earlier with Cleaver. You just sit on too much gold for too long. Whenever you have gold for your items, you never want to be on the map because you're just not strong without them. Like, if you have gold for Sterix, but you're not actually buying it, and you're just sitting on the map, like, fighting, now you're in this position where, like, okay, perhaps your team was in a better spot, and this play was more fightable. Like, it ends up pretty badly, right? Like, your team loses it because you're not there as well. But perhaps they're a little bit stronger. Perhaps it's a little bit more even, perhaps it's more likely you can win it. You're here at this fight with Sterix up because you plan ahead of time. And then you just ace them maybe in another game, and you win the game off that, right? So maybe this game, no. But in another game, if you're thinking about this kind of angle, thinking about the possibility of this kind of play, you can solo win the game right here and right here and there. Like, you can just win the game right here for your team. You can ace them, and then you ace them, you can get Dragon, you can get Otacon, and then boom, you're snowballing hard, right? But instead we hit this tower, we do take damage off of it, but we don't get to kill it. GP's back for us like we thought, and now, because we had a timer potentially to affect our team here with a teleport, or just by going home, buying Sterix and affecting the fight, we've lost this timer again. Just like that Cleaver timer that I talked about earlier when you died up here. We lost our timer, and now they take the objectives, they get the rewards of the fight, and it's just really hard to play. Because even though you're not doing anything wrong, right? You're not inting, you're playing the game well to like a certain standard. Like, you're not playing badly. There's just always more you can do to League to reduces the chances or increase the chances of you winning these games, you know? And nothing ever is for certain, right? Like, sometimes your team's just going to sprint it down. You can't control that. But these small things you can do, these small things you can just be aware of, they just increase the odds of you winning. And over the course of many games, that is what helps you climb consistently.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand.
So... And especially as Urgot, like, you want to be participating in these fights. Like, now, this is when you're super strong. Like I said, you're 13, right? Level 13, your shotgun legs go to 2.5 second cooldown from 5 seconds. So you have insane DPS. You have your Sterix now in base, so you're tanky as well. And you have your flash up here. So you can make an E-flash play. You can flash fear somebody that engages. You can do a lot of good stuff in these fights. You have a lot of control over the game now. And that's basically the goal, is you always want to have some form of control, some form of say in the game. When it ever gets to those scenarios where like your team's so far behind and you just have to flip a 5v5 with just like behind, then there's not much control you have, you know? You're just kind of like saying, okay, fuck it, you know? If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But everything before that, you want to make sure everything is maximized to have as much odds in your favor as possible. Every small thing you can do has an impact on the game. Whether that's like TPing to a fight or just being 3 seconds faster and clearing a wave so you arrive to a fight faster. Every small thing matters here. So one thing I want to talk about here, in mid-game macro, I noticed this a lot you were doing. One thing you should start doing more is if the side waves are pushed in, like they're over here and they're here, right?
Yeah, I have no idea
what to do now. And they're not like
now.
at your tower. Yeah, you usually want to run through mid, right?
For options.
Your goal is, yeah, for options. You always want to be able to respond to a play. Doesn't mean a play is going to break out. Doesn't mean you can, but you want to have the possibility to. If you run straight top lane, a play breaks out mid or bot lane, it's hard to affect it without using your teleport.
Yes.
But you have this timer now where Udyr's top lane, this guy's bot lane, this guy's mid lane. All your waves are fine. You don't really need to catch a wave anything or like anything super urgent. So what you want to do here is you just walk mid, you know? You don't really know where they all are on the map. Yeah. You just help your team. Again, it goes back into that thing about odds, you know? Like, maybe they die here, like 50 games out of 100. Maybe they're pushing this tier 2. You know, they don't really have vision on anybody except Sejuani. They get flanked here, they die, right? But if you're there, maybe in like 50 of those games, half of them, you can save them because you are there and you don't lose anything for it. So all about those odds, those small things, even when it's like stuff like not about your game, like helping your teammates game, you hover them for a wave, they crash the wave, then they can back off. They don't die. Maybe because they don't die, you don't lose the dragon or something or a shutdown. And then your odds just keep increasing for winning the game here. Like, you run top here, right? And like, it's just like, you don't need to do anything here. This guy's killed the GP. Like, maybe you're like, oh, maybe I don't know if he's going to kill the GP or not. But like, you don't really need to go here. Udyr was top. He can push it.
I didn't know
here. You don't do anything.
I didn't know this is going to happen. I'm not here to help Udyr against Gangplank.
Exactly.
I was here
not consistent of a play.
Yeah, yeah. I was here just to do the same push to the top tower.
You're just going, you're clicking to top lane and pushing in over and over again while your team plays the rest of the game here. And you're in a spot where you can help them easily, right? Like, look at the mid right now. Exactly like I said. They're looking to engage in them here. Like, this Fizz is going aggressive.
This is how I play when I have teleport. When I have teleport, I'm always like, I should be at the furthest place away from the action so that I could teleport.
That is true when there's an objective up. When there's an objective up, then you want to be on the opposite side so you can teleport, right? But if you look at this scenario here, if we go back again, let me go back all the way.
I like that. Then go mid for options.
Right, if we go back here, we don't have any objective up that we really need to play for, right? Nothing is up. No dragon, no Otacon, no bear, no nothing.
Okay.
And the second objective is there's no waves, right? There's no waves to be eaten like immediately. Like nothing that you need to immediately just go to the side and eat. So we can move mid here, defend them, not lose any creeps, and also save our teleport at the same time. You know, now we still have our teleport.
I'll 100% adopt this because I had a blank slot here in my decision making. And I was not sure. I'm glad you brought it up. I was not sure what to do in these moments because I've had to unlearn certain creative freedom from Dota 2 and Warcraft 3 because we have such bespoke lanes. So I was trying to be a good boy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think they're definitely different from League. I don't know if you would say that, but they're probably very different games from League, despite being the same genre.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because of like the disincentivization for jungle to take over lane and vice versa for me to take over creep camps. Or jungle camps,
that's valid for sure.
if you will. And sometimes I flip with my ADC. I think it's better for me to go bot so I can take tier 1, but then they don't go top, and then I lose a top tower. So I've been kind of conditioned to accept the lack of flexibility of teammates, and for me to occupy top. Because even if the lane state goes against me, even if an ADC walks right there, he's just going to go mid. He's not going to address top. I guess. But in this situation, it was super clear that it can be quite fruitful for me to go mid. So I love that. I will be copying.
And the best part of it is you don't even actually need to commit. So a lot of people, when I tell my students this, they think like I actually have to like come here and hold their hand.
I have to all in the mid tower. I have to die for them.
You don't have to.
Be near.
You can just hover. You know, like you can be like here. You can be like here. You know, you can be here. You just need to have options. Like maybe they push this wave, nothing happens, right? Then they back off, right? They get the wave and then they back off, recall, do whatever. Then you're close enough. You're halfway between mid. You're halfway between top, right? You can move. You have options, and that way, if the wave does start to push in now, you can go and catch it. You lose nothing. Nothing happens. Sense. Just go catch the wave. You lose nothing for it.
Makes sense, but doing nothing feels inefficient. But that's okay because I'm not doing nothing.
It does.
I'm waiting.
But in this scenario, there's nothing to do.
Right, and I'm potentially converting negative outcomes to positive outcomes, but potentially. The expected value of that is still positive. I understand.
Yes. Again, that risk versus reward concept, right? What is the reward of going to any of these lanes? Nothing, because there's someone already there. They're already pushed in. There's no reward to it. You don't really get anything for it. And in fact, all it really does is if you go to the side lane and your team's not there, you're vulnerable to like a gank from the river or something because you have no vision. So the risk is like moderate and the reward is like very low.
Right.
What's the risk versus reward of moving mid here, right?
Yeah, I'm lowering risk and I'm increasing potential reward because also enemy is all missing.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, question, Quante. Should I steal Kaisa's farm if I go mid or not?
So usually you never want to be sharing farm with another laner or carry, especially in lower elo. If you take their farm, half chance they can just leave the game. Very risky play. I would not recommend it.
No alpha.
You never
plays.
know in like lower elos sometimes. No, I mean it's just bad to share waves because you get reduced XP for both of you. You always want to be playing side out.
You mean I should not even stand next to Kaisa, even if I don't last hit?
It depends on the game state. Like, in general, though, you never want to be in a scenario where you're both, like, farming the same wave. Even if you're not last hitting, just, like, sharing that XP, it's bad.
Do you know the percentage?
You both get reduced XP. It's like, I think you get 55% XP each. So overall, you get more, but, like, it's still not worth it. Like, it's just not worth it. Because the enemy carry will be like 2 levels up on each of you guys if he's just getting solo XP. So it's just not worth it to share XP. You always want one person in every side wave. Now there are some exceptions where like maybe like you need to like crash a wave before you guys all rotate into the dragon or something. So you need to like be on the mid wave with them to help them be safe. That's an exception where you can like be mid with them sharing the wave. But like if you're in your farming state, that kind of thing, you need to be able to be in your own wave, getting your own XP.
Yes,
Urgot is a champion that really relies on his solo XP. He needs solo XP.
Right, but let's say I am going to Kaisa and the fish girl to back them up in case of some calamity, looking to potentially subvert the future and have it go in our way for risk-reward management. And wave shows up, I'm near. Are there cases where you would say, take that CS? Or would you say always let ADC have it?
Usually you don't want to be showing so that the enemy team gets baited to go in.
Right.
No, if you can't actually fight them, even if you're there and you're just there to like secure them, like maybe like psychology, like prevent them from engaging, that's a different story. But usually when you're hovering like this to prevent that like doomsday scenario, you're like hiding in like the fog or something, so that if they get baited to go in, then you can collapse behind them.
That makes a lot of sense.
That kind
the
of
not showing part. Okay.
Yeah, and that way you're also closer to go back to your top wave. You don't have to walk as far if nothing happens. So yeah, generally the rule of thumb is you never want to be sharing XP with a carry.
Yeah, but
or
more
like
than that,
laner,
even
like your mid or ADC.
More than that, even here is don't show.
Yes, don't show. So like this is good here. Like what you're doing here again is good. Like at this point, playing silent is good. But like remember what I said about like hovering mid, right? If you see the top wave, it's so far extended, and you don't have any vision. So you don't know if you go for this wave, they could just jump you, right? You're gambling. But you see your team here, they're all posturing here, right?
This gamble rarely gets punished, which is why I haven't been disabused of the notion to keep doing this. But it is not a good play.
Yeah, just because the risk, like when I play this game, I just always ask myself, and it's second nature at this point for me, I just always ask myself, what is the risk versus reward of this play? What does physically taking this wave get me versus what could possibly happen if I move here and they engage here, right? I could get this wave in.
Like, I think if I'm mid, I'm strong enough to say that I will kill 2 and save 2. So that's a 4 death swing that I could affect. Whereas if I go to the left, I will get 1 wave.
Right. And even here, you still have time to go for it. Like, because you didn't go for the wave, you went for the Scuttle Crab, which is the good play. That's what I would do too. Oh. But then, another thing is you just need to be looking at your map more, I feel like. As soon as you take the Scuttle Crab, right, if we go back a little here, you see they instantly pop up in mid. Like, you see the Ashe hovering here, right? Like, she's in mid lane. You see the Ashe, so you know the Ashe is mid lane. Now you see the Fizz. So you see the Fizz's bot lane. Now you see the Sejuani, right? As soon as you take the Scuttle Crab, you see the Sejuani. So you need to be instantly looking, okay, wait a second, something's about to happen here. Let's go hover. Let's go help our team out, right?
I didn't see or care. I just wanted to kill Gangplank.
That's very common. That's very valid too. And the play is ending up over pretty quickly anyway, so that's fine. But it's just like those small things, right? Because now, like because you didn't hover them, maybe in another world your hovering saves them.
Yep.
They don't die. Now you don't lose this mid tower, and now your map is not completely just dark, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this guy, like, even if you get a kill here,
it was not as
good, but it doesn't really progress the game as much. When you're playing side lane, I would say another good rule to follow is you're playing side lane to take this tier 2 tower, because this tier 2 tower gives you like 700, 750 gold, right? Yeah. That's like the biggest payday in all of League. This tower right here or this tower right here, yeah? This gives you so much gold. So if you're playing side lane, the main goal for Urgot is to play side lane to take those towers, get pressure, and then use your priority, your first move, to affect the fights, right? But once these towers are gone, you're not ever being like, oh, I want to push all the way to the inhibitor and then just solo end the game before they go home, right? That's like so unrealistic.
Well, I was thinking I should because every time my allies died, my confidence in them dropped. So I thought, if we're gonna do something, we gotta do it our damn well self. And I'll get my 6th item Hullbreaker at minute 38, and I'm gonna end it alone.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I've been there myself many times, but it's just such an unlikely win con. Like, it's so
never
unrealistic. Like, okay, maybe my team doesn't die, and maybe the entire team doesn't base as well, and I can just end the game, right? It just does. It's very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, you're right. Can I be honest? That never happened yet.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Like, the only scenario where you're gonna do that is if it's like completely doomed and you have no shot of ever winning a 5v5. Like, your team is like 5 billion gold behind. That kind of thing, then you can play for that kind of win con. But if there's a shot of winning team fights, if there's even a hope of like being able to play 5v5, whether that's because you have a better comp or your team's just still in the game, right? Like, you're in the game, you're not out of the game, it's winnable. Then you want to be looking to play team fights first. You go into the side lane, push the wave, get the XP, and then move to the fight, you know? But this game, you had the right like idea where you're playing the side wave, but you committed too much to it. You only played the side lane this game, and because of that, even though you were pretty fed, like you were up a lot of CS on this GP, right? And you're really strong too, but you weren't actually able to convert that lead into helping the team. Yeah, Urgot is a champion that it's really hard to solo carry games with. You kind of need someone else to help you, whether that's like a support to engage or that kind of thing, because he does not do good job of engaging by himself. Like, he needs to be counter engage, or he needs fellow ally CC to play off of, right? Yeah, like I'm sure you've like noticed, like it's hard to hit the R and the E without like help from your team.
Would you also
Or
say
them
that
engaging onto you.
if I was going to be some crazy megalomaniac that just wants a side lane, top is not my lane anymore? It's bot now?
No. Bot lane is never side lane. Top lane is the best place to do stuff.
why?
Oh wait, sorry. Are you talking about like the lane?
I
Not the
mean,
role,
no.
right? The lane in general.
Wait.
Like,
What did you
physical
think
lane.
I asked?
Sorry, I thought you meant like role swapping to ADC or something.
No. I
My
mean,
bad. Yes.
I mean, now my place is bot lane, correct?
Correct. Yes, because you have top wave all the way pushed out, right? If you were to base here, go buy your items, and then walk all the way back to top lane, that's so far, you know?
Yeah.
And by that time, they'll push it all the way back here probably, then it's dark as well, you can get ganked. Yeah, now you should start taking over the other lanes. Trying to help your team out here.
Also to get the tier 2s, right?
Yes, try to crack the tier 2s. And just getting pressure in like lanes, like... So, earlier I said top lane is really determined by waves. That's true. But in general, League is just determined by waves, right? Like in these mid-game scenarios, like you see they had a mid-wave, right? So your entire mid lane is dark.
Yes.
Excuse me. So it's really hard to make plays around this entire pocket now. Yeah. Because anywhere you go, boom, fizz, Sejuani R, you're dead. You know, someone gets caught, then you're all dead. Yeah. Right? Really hard to play. But you see, because you push out top lane, not only can you move first to a play mid, but you have so much more vision room because one, they have to come clear this, right? And then you can kind of see which direction they move after the wave. And then them clearing it gives you numbers advantage on the play, possibly in mid here.
Yes.
You know, so you want to play the waves that gets you vision, that gets you security, that helps you be able to like take these fights with more confidence, more security, knowing where the enemy is.
Yep. I like your coaching, and I like your coaching is solo queue focused. Like it's not competitive or 5-on-5 focused. You realize your allies are part of the pawns on the board that you do not directly control, but you can help them. It's I've never had MOBA coaching like this, and I've always looked for it, so it's good. You're still there? He left.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? I muted my mic.
I just killed him.
my mic. You can hear me again, right?
I thought you run from compliments or something. I was like, what the fuck did I do wrong? It's like, geez.
I was coughing and I forgot to unmute my mic.
Okay.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, the way I was saying, the way I approach League is a very like probability like base game.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't carry every game. No one can carry every game, but there's always things you can do to sway the odds as much in your favor as possible. And a lot of players just don't realize this because they can't realize it. They don't have the game experience. They don't know enough about the game to be able to see these small things.
Pause.
There is like always something. Yeah.
Why was I so fast?
You get home guards off your TP.
The fuck?
That increases it. This home guard movement speed increases as the game goes on. So early game, it's not as much.
Every TP or when I base TP?
Every TP. So I think in lane, I think it's before 14 minutes you don't get it, but I think after 14 minutes you get movement speed.
Oh, maybe it says so.
It's also because of home guards too, I think. I'm
really?
not sure actually. I think it's because of the home guards.
It looks like I have an unleashed TP. It looks like
I think it's because of unleashed TP.
Yeah, maybe it even says so in the tooltip. I did see that in my buff bar, one of the 5 in the buff bar. Oh.
Okay, it does. Yes, it does.
After
Unleashed TP grants you 50% movement speed. Yes, it is Unleashed TP.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Unleashed TP gives you movement speed, plus you also had home guards as well, I think, in base, which gave you even more movement speed.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is good. We had a good TP. See, like we're finally like we played a side wave, right? This is what we should have been doing the entire game here. Like,
well, this
we go
is
to the side wave.
This is my power spike.
Push out the side wave.
24:45 is the first time I'll join team fight, and if you ask me to help before that, you're reported. Okay, my bad.
But that's what I mean. Like you shouldn't be approaching these fights based on like the actual number of the time. It's based around your spikes. Like you have flash up. Like your items, you know, are you in a good spot to fight compared to them? Don't look at like the time, because the time is different for every game, you know, depending on like how far you ahead or behind you are. It's like what's your items versus theirs, what's your summoners, levels, your health, right? But you see, we push the side wave. Now we get first move to the fight. We get a nice flank here. Like we could have also just walked up if we didn't teleport as well, right? So like just pushing the side wave gives us these options that we should have been looking for the entire game. Yeah. And now we finally get to play our first team fight, right? We cleaned them up. Now we can threaten Baron, we can threaten Drag. Okay, we can't threaten Baron because it's a little hard, but like we could threaten Baron here. So Sejuani and Ashe are dead. Like we could kill top lane, Like, so many things happen, right? Your first team fight, and look, the map looks so much more playable. You got bot lane pushed in, mid's pushed in, you're gonna go kill top lane. Top lane's gonna get pushed in too. Then you have a lot of pressure on the map to play this, to play dragon, and suddenly you have options again, right?
Yeah,
the
but
risk
my
is a
team's
lot
always
lower.
inting mid.
Yeah, this part you can't control, of course.
Yeah,
Like, this is just solo queue. This is the part you can't control. Like I said, you can only do so much. You're increasing the odds. Can your teammates still fucking ape out and die here? Of course they can. You know, can't do anything about that. I guess you could spam ping them, but that's not your fault. You know, but at least because you killed them, you know, maybe they can't do Baron now. You know, imagine you don't kill them, then they die mid, and then they do Baron, right? So it's like, you know, small things, right? It's like the odds.
Very good,
you know?
very good.
Like, at least they don't get Baron, right?
Yeah.
And in another game, maybe if they don't die there, you get Baron, and then you win the game. Over the course of many games, that's a game-winning play right there.
Yeah.
Right, and now you have gold for Deadmans. So again, here, this goes into the gold thing and the tempo thing. You have gold for your item, right? You have 2,000 gold, and you're sitting on like 1,600 gold here, so you have more than enough gold for your item. What objective is up? You got Baron up, you got Dragon up. You gotta consider, like, I want to be as strong as possible here on the map.
I don't like backing off.
No, that's valid. In this scenario, it's fine to push just because you know you can't contest the dragon because these two are dead, right? So you know they're going to get dragon. So in this case, it's fine to push this, right? But there's always like a risk to reward. Like, the risk is low to push this because you know they're on dragon here, right? Yeah. And you don't really have another play because your team is dead. Not like you can contest this. If you could contest this, then you probably want to base and try to play it with your team. Right. But this is fine just because your team is dead and you know they're at the dragon. So the risk versus reward, it's chilling.
Or I could try the 3v4.
That being said,
at the
3v4 is fine too. You want to push this one wave at least just because they're on the dragon. And then you want to reset here, get your item, and then put presence on the objectives. So one big tip I'm going to give you right now, probably one of the biggest tips for Urgot, is a lot of the times for Urgot, teleporting in is fake. If you think about it, Urgot is a counter engage champion, right? He wants to counter the enemy engage, right? With his flip, they engage, Sejuani Q's in, flip to Sejuani, R her, fear everybody else, yeah?
Oh.
So oftentimes when you're teleporting in, you're too late. So a lot of the times what you'll want to do is, instead of just like playing side lane and then teleporting in after the fight has started, you want to be thinking, will I be more effective? Will it be more useful to my team if I just walk in first, 30 seconds, 40 seconds before the objective, help set up vision, help them walk in, get wards out without getting caught, and then I'm here. If the Sejuani sends engage, I'm already here to counter it with my E, you know?
But then what does my teleport do?
So that's the tricky part. Sometimes it's just good to have it. Like, you don't have to use your teleport. Just because you have teleport does not mean you always have to like be in the sideline like using it. Like in scenarios like this, where they have engage and it's really easy for them to catch out your team, right? You kind of want to be there first just to secure them.
That's
now,
how I,
of course,
that's how I play with Ignite, like what you're describing now. But I become I become a distant father when for milk never came back when I have telly. I could always come back, but I could always teleport in. But, therefore, I never will.
It's kind of about, again, everything is about, for me, everything is about those odds, right? What happens if you're teleporting into the fight? What do you think the odds are? You're fucking Nami or your Kaisa is like, oh, I'm not thinking, I got no brain. Let me just walk into this fog. Let me get Sejuani or Fizz ulted by them. They get engaged, caught out. Then you lose the objective. How many times do you think that's happened to you in your games? Where like someone just like randomly gets caught out and right, exactly, yeah.
It happens so much that I stop. Like I actually do very few teleports that I lie to myself I may use, because by the time I want to teleport, it's too late.
And this is a factor from Iron to High Challenger, bro. Even in Challenger games, people will do this mistake, and it pisses me off to no end. But there's nothing you can do about it. I think it's just the human nature, the nature of League, the nature just to want to do stuff. People will just fight. Like, even in Challenger, way less in Challenger, of course. But even in Challenger, people will get caught. They'll want to look for one small trade, even if they're not all in, they'll get caught, and then boom. Like, you just lose. Like, even if like it's like so stupid that they get caught out, like maybe the objective hasn't even spawned and they're already getting caught out. It's just solo queue, you know? You can't control that. So again, it's about controlling those odds. And I found out in my experience that just preparing ahead of time, even if I have teleport up, it's often just better to just move with your team 30 seconds in advance, help them set up, help get vision, just guarantee they don't get caught. And then you're in a position to be able to play counter engage as Urgot, which is just way more useful, you know? Like, and this will depend on the enemy comp. Like, you got to look at their comp and be like, how easy is it for the enemy comp to just send the engage on my squishies, and how likely is it for them to die? Like, they have Sejuani, they have Fizz this game. Really strong engage tools that's kind of hard for your team to play around, right? They just throw these long skill shots at your team. Fizz R, Sejuani R, boom, they're caught out, boom, they're dead, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're not here to like body block or counter engage those engage tools, your team's gonna suffer and die. But for instance, if they had stuff like that doesn't... Yeah, go ahead.
Should I counter E Sejuani, or should I wait and when Sejuani stuns with her ult, I think it's a relatively long distance stun, right? Should I hide in the bush and then E-flash on Ash or something?
You kind of want to be body blocking your carries if they're not good enough to dodge it already. You kind of just want to be the front line here. They're not going to solo ult you because you're the tank, right? So like if you don't know where they are here, you kind of just want to be posturing in front of your carries, like helping them set up, helping them like get their poke damage, using their range without having to worry about getting engaged on themselves. That's your main job here. Ideally, if this is Sejuani you're here, right? And she tries to Q onto you, do you know about the Urgot E buffer?
Yes, kind of. But I don't always get the right timing. Sometimes I E and it actually gets interrupted by their thing.
Yeah, it's tricky. But in cases like this, where Sejuani engages, like I'm not saying you have to E buffer her Q, but like if she ever wants to Q in here, right? If she tries to Q in on like anybody of your target, then she's used her dash. Then you're here next to your carry, flip her, you put your ult in her, your entire team's there DPSing, they're hitting the Sejuani, you know? And then boom, you get the pull on her, and then flash fear this guy, right? And that's Urgot's true strength in these fights. That's why it's really OP to be here at the start of the fight as Urgot, you know? It really deters their engage because you have such a potent counter engage threat with your flash up, you know? Like if you get an R pull on somebody and they're all like funneling after the dude trying to follow up on that dude's engage, then they're all like running into you. You pull the dude, boom, fear everybody, and then you insta win the game. You know,
you don't want me to one-on-one someone in the back line. You want me to play front to back. Front to back. Your main goal in these
fights, yes, exactly. Your main goal in these fights is I want to get my R off, and I want to fear somebody at all costs. That is your primary focus, Urgot. It's not your damage. Your tanking is kind of ties into like getting the CC off in time. But it's not your damage. It's about getting your CC off in these fights. Because if you get your CC off, then you can pump them for infinite damage. They're just almost always guaranteed to die if you fear them all in these kind of fights. 5v5 at 25 minutes, right? Then you do your damage. But your goal right now is you want to avoid taking too much poke, so that way you're not low enough that you can't execute someone in time. Because if you're too low here, you get poked too much, you can't kill them in time. They'll kill you.
Now, how do I prevent...
you've died like trying to reel on someone.
Yes, exactly. But I have. It's very sad. But also sometimes when I'm like quote unquote frontlining for my team, I end up getting poked by 5 Syndras, and my team is not poking back. Now I'm 20%. We're all running, right?
That probably will just come down to you not respecting your range versus their range, and that just comes with knowledge of the enemy champions versus your champions, like who has more range. That's why I think League is just such a hard game. It's so knowledge-based and so knowledge-gated. Like you just need to know the job of your comp versus their comp. Like if they have higher range than you, even if you're frontlining, your team still can't hit back because they're higher range. So your goal needs to be, okay, I don't want to be so far up that they can hit me without my team hitting them back, you know? You gotta measure your teammates' power and their power at the same time here to determine where you want to be in fights.
Right, so in that case,
you always want to avoid free poke.
Against like 5 artillery mage type of champs, we would need to play from the dark or from behind.
Yeah, like you want to look in those scenarios where it's like really hard to just walk up straight and approach them. Then what do you think would be your options if you're versus like 5 artillery mages? Like you say flank, right? Or side lane, right? Side lane force them to respond to you instead of having to walk at them. Yeah. So like that's why Urgot is just versatile. Like he always really has tools to play the game, just because like Urgot struggles when he has to run at champions, you know? Like if he has to run at them, it's bad. If they run at him, good. Okay. Right? So in scenarios where you're versus comp stat, it's hard to run at them, right? It's just unlikely. Don't be like, okay, I gotta brute force this, you know, I gotta run at them and try to force a fight head on. That's very unlikely, very unrealistic, not favorable for you.
Yes.
If you're in those scenarios where it's like impossible, you think, just to like start a fight and your team has like no engage to start off fights that you can follow up on, you play side lane, you know, play side lane, force them to come to you, right? You play side lane, then they have to match you. You don't have to play the 5v5. They match you, they're playing artillery mages, you can E-flash one-shot them. You have first move to move all the way up to these fights again, like I said before. You have just many tools. always trying to think of like small things, trying to get the edge for yourself, yeah? Like never trying to play into their win cons. What am I strong at? What does my champion do? What does my comp do? What does my team do? And what does the enemy team do? What do they want to do? Gotta ask yourself these questions and then try to slot in your win cons, try to slot in your game plan according to what you think they want to do. And this, of course, just comes with playing the game because you gotta know every champion. You gotta know how they've played versus your comp. So yeah. But over time, those are definitely factors you're trying to consider here. Like, see here what I mean? Like, this is good, right? You force the Mel to match you. You're playing side lane. You force the Mel to match you. Suddenly, you're in a position where you can force her to walk up, force her to fight. If you're playing this fight like near Baron, and she's got like backup, all these people defending her, you know? You're never just walking up straight to this Mel, queuing her and flipping her ever, you know? She'll never be in range for you to do this. But because we're playing the side lane here, this gives us options. Like now we can get the kill here. Now we have pressure in the side lane. We can crack this. We can maybe look to like rotate mid or something. All good stuff can happen here, right?
Like this guy
we just have plays, we have options, we have more increased odds of winning the game.
Such a good coaching session. Smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one thing I also wanted to touch on this game was your build. Now, I'm a big believer in that Urgot's build doesn't really matter super much compared to his gameplay. I think good gameplay matters far more than builds do on Urgot.
That's good.
For this game, I noticed you build far too much armor.
Well,
because if you look,
I thought I was trying to get better from. Okay, here's how I was playing before. Black Cleaver, whichever boots suits the situation. Then Starax, and then I think I usually got. Let me think. What did I usually get? Third, I got over. Wait, let me check. Oh,
I think you might Jack Show next year.
Third Jack Show, fourth Overlord or something.
Yeah,
and sometimes maybe I got a Executioner for certain games, or a Thornmill I used to get. But then when I watched your item guide, 5 different situations, 3 ADC, 3 AP, like this, like that. Actually, I made this list. I've realized you can make a list of items. I think I'm more confused than ever, actually, because what was new was Deadman's Plate. It never gets recommended by Riot, so I never made it because I was using the recommendations.
Yeah.
And then you said it's really good, and you said Titanic is bad. I think I built Titanic twice, so you said it's bad. I don't build it anymore. Now I'm trying Deadman's Plate, and I'm trying to parse its value.
I will give you Yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown just to make all items super easy for you. All right,
okay.
First 2 items for you, I want you to always go Black Cleaver Starax. 99% of games, I go that myself.
Okay, good.
So go Black Cleaver Starax. And then the third item is when decisions really come in. So if you look at their comp, right? If we look at their comp this game, I think they have they have Ashe, Gangplank, Fizz, Sejuani, and I don't know their support.
Okay, I think Gangplank is physical. I think Ashe is physical. I think Mel support, so it doesn't matter as much. Sejuani, I don't know, but my guess is physical because she swings a flail. So I should.
Sejuani's magic, but she's a tank, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Sejuani's a magic damage tank.
And Fizz I don't know.
And
I'm guessing magic.
Yeah, Fizz is magic damage, and Mel is magic damage. Even though she's support, she's building AP, so you need MR. So they actually have 3 AP and 2 AD. So in scenarios like this, where they have like mixed of each, where they have like split AD and split magic damage, you'll want to just stack health. So I want you to go Black Cleaver, Starax, Bloodmail for your 3 core item. Because I think this item build is really nice if they have like mixed damage. If they have one specific type.
You said in your guide Bloodmail is a pipe dream. Well, not literally, but roughly. But maybe that's because
I need to update that section actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, it's really good. I think on the items it's really expensive, but that was before it got buffed. It got buffed a lot like a couple patches ago.
Oh.
And I think after that, it's been a really solid item. So actually good. I'll update that. Thank you so much for reminding me.
Okay.
But I just think it's really good right now because there's just not a good item on third to build when they have dual damage, right? You don't want to go Jack Show on third because it amps up existing resistances, which you don't have any on third. You know, you only have Jack Show. It's not enough.
It amps up existing resistances?
Yeah. So Jack Show, you can still zoom my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it increases your bonus armor and magic resist by 30% after stacking up 5 times, right? But you don't really have any existing resistances besides these guys.
Okay.
So like, it's just not worth on third. So there's no other item really that gives you dual resistances on third.
Health is.
So in these kind of scenarios, it's health, right? Yeah.
Right.
Not only does it give you coverage versus both AD and AP, it also beefs up your Starax, which scales with bonus health, right? And Blood Mail gives you the most bonus health. It gives you plus 550 bonus health. So you get a ton of HP, which beefs up your Sterix. Your Black Cleaver and Sterix give you HP, which beefs up your Blood Mail damage in return. So it's just a really nice synergy you got going on 3-core. You're tanky and you have high damage. The only issue is it's a little expensive, but it's still the best build.
Right.
Now,
and,
if you are versed... Yeah, go ahead.
It is easier for me to get it than I would say for a higher level, because our games are sloppier and they go on for longer.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're versed like 3 AD, like you were clearly versed like a stronger damage type, like whether that's physical or magic damage, then you can go like Deadman's third, Randuin's third, that kind of thing, where it's like clearly one damage type is more prevalent than the other on the enemy team. You know? So that is a situation where you would maybe go like Deadman's third. If they have a lot of crit, a lot of ADCs, you can go Randuin's third. You can go the MR items, Koenig or Fawn, that kind of thing.
Oh, third
I really like...
Third is optional.
Yes, third is flexible. Third is the flexible slot depending on the enemy comp. And then after that, you can just go into like more resistances. They can go like the other damage type. They can go like Deadman's into Fawn. If you still only need armor and you don't need much magic resist, you can go Deadman's into like Randuin's, Deadman's into Overlords. That part doesn't matter as much. It's just the first 3 items that you really need to lock in for Urgot, and the rest of them are kind of flexible.
Wait, the first 3?
Yeah, the reason why...
Cleaver,
yeah, the first
Cleaver
3.
and Sterak. And the third is
Cleaver,
option.
Sterix, first 2. The third, yeah. Those 3 items are like the most important. Like,
okay, but only
everything
2,
after that's kind of flexible.
Only 2 are guaranteed, right?
Yes, only 2 are guaranteed.
Okay.
And I would just say the reason why I go Deadman's is because movement speed is just such a premium stat on him. Turning this sluggish, slow, reactive champion into a proactive champion, a champion that can make plays, engage, rotate faster with that additional movement speed, it just changes his playstyle, right? Like,
yes.
These items just fundamentally change how he can play. Like, even if you're 20-0 and you just go this like slow tank build, you could be 20-0, but if they don't engage onto you, you can't control the pace of the game. You don't really get to decide what happens. They're faster than you on the map, probably. They rotate faster. They can take skirmishes faster. They can disengage faster. You're slow to respond, you know?
Yes.
So, like, just building movement speed items for Urgot really helps unlock him to be able to make more plays, have more control over the game. So that's why I like Deadman's. Gives you a lot of out-of-combat movement speed so you can rotate.
And question, if I need magic resistance, but it's too soon for Jack Show, what would be the primary magic resist item to get? Koenig, Roker, Force of Nature?
Force of Nature usually. The rule of thumb is if they have like burn, like their champions do burn, like Cassiopeia Brand, or they have like Liandry's Torment or Blackfire Torch, the burn items, then you'll want to go Force of Nature. Preferably, you should always go Force of Nature just because it gives you movement speed, right?
Yes.
Over Koenig, which is like no movement speed, but you're a little bit tankier.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what it depends on. Normally, I will go Fawn just because I like the movement speed. But if they don't have any burn, you can go Koenig. And also, I usually don't go Jack Show anymore unless I'm like full build. I just think it doesn't feel that impactful of an item. The fights don't usually last long enough to get the full value out of it to stack it up fully at the beginning. And it's just difficult to like really slot in because it doesn't feel that great to build and it's expensive. It doesn't feel like it spikes you that hard either.
I see.
Yeah.
And so
that's my recommendations.
So right now I have for my third item, it's going to be Overlord's Bloodmail or Deadman's Blade or Force of Nature, depending if it's split, physical, or magical.
Majority of games, I go Bloodmail, just because it's very unlikely I'm versed like a full 80 or AP comp, and it's just a nice third item. Like, you are so strong, you are super tanky, and you're just in a great spot on 3 items to take over the game on those 3 item spikes.
I like that. And then for the situational, or let's say 4th items, I have Randuin's, Hullbreaker, Rooker, Frozen Heart.
Don't go. I would say don't go Hull. If you are, so the rule of thumb is if you are fed and you are like more gold than the enemy team, you can afford to go more damage items. Like you can have the luxury to go like
Snowball.
BC, Sterix, Deadman's, Bloodmail, Stridebreaker, something like that. You know, like one resistance item. Stridebreaker, and don't like that's like as a last item, like a luxury item.
Okay, but that was that in your guide?
No, I don't ever go Stridebreaker first. As like a luxury item. Like I have it as an item that you can go, but like not something that you should be going a lot. The issue with Stridebreaker is that it's just so expensive for the cost a lot of the times, unless you're already super fed and snowballing, even if you can get on top of them with Stridebreaker, you still lose 1v1 just because of the price and how low stats it gives Urgot compared to like a Cleaver or something. But if you're really fed and snowballing as like a 4th or 5th item, you can go Stridebreaker because you're already fed by then, you know?
What should I normally get as a 4th or 5th? Let's say I don't need Randuin's. It's too late for Yumama's Ghostblade. I don't need Koenig Rukern. Like, what am I adding? Lethality? Like, would I go Spear of Shojin?
As always, the answer depends what is your comp versus their comp and what is your rule. So if you look at this game, for instance, right?
Yeah,
you have a lot of backline damage. You have good backline damage, right? And they have a lot of engage. You know, Fizz, Sejuani, Ashar, GP Barrels, a lot of damage that you can soak up for your team, kind of.
Yep.
And Udyr is like AP, so he's not super tanky either. He's like moderately tanky, right? In this game, your goal is you are a frontliner, right? Your goal is you want to soak this engage and kill them faster than... there's a lot of circles here. Give me a second.
Wait, can I guess before you give the answer?
Engage. Oh, yeah, please.
You draw the... So far, you're portraying the situation, and I'm going to try to guess what item then, because you've said they have engage. I am the major frontliner for the team, and so maybe I should have had Black Cleaver into Sterax. And then third item, they're kind of split, so Overlord. And then fourth item.
Yep, that's solid for sure. Yeah,
okay,
third item is always really good for Overlords.
Okay.
But then you want to start slotting into tank. Oh, sorry.
You've mentioned that.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking now. I see crits on Ash. Don't answer yet, right? I see crits on Ash. So Randuin's is an option to tank more, but then the Murloc, he's got like lots of magic damage, so then Randuin's doesn't do anything there. Yumama's Ghostblade is DPS, so we wouldn't go for that. Renick, Rukern, Frozen Heart is a lot of armor, reduced attack speed. It kind of mostly against physical. Hubris is damage. Spear of Shojin is health. And I get ability haste, and I get extra damage. It's mostly a damage item with some tankiness, I guess. Edge of Night, Stridebreaker. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Fourth item. Let's say I would maybe go for maybe I would just go for Spear of Shojin. No, but that's DPS. Maybe Frozen Heart. No, I wouldn't go that either. I don't know, actually.
Yeah, so I actually really like you rationalizing this out, because that was cool to see. The correct answer here is you look at their comp, right? I think you're overthinking it, is what I'm going to say. You look at their comp, right? And you just see their comp kind of wants to go in. Your comp doesn't really go in. You kind of play front to back, and you just let these guys hit and do their damage and try to keep them alive, right?
Okay.
These guys are your carries. These guys are your damage at this point. You're there for the CC. So in this case, you want to build frontline. You want to build tank. Yeah, we got to that part. So now the answer is, what tank items do we build? All right, so one is, this guy is crit, like we see crit here.
Oh yeah, I see two crits now, yeah.
And then we see AP here, and this guy is like tanks and not really that big of a deal, right? We can say it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So you have double AP and double crit. So after this game, I would go BC here. We go BC first, Sterix.
Yeah.
All right, let me just cycle this out. Yeah, we go BC first. That's correct. Then we go Sterix. And then I would probably go something like Blood Mill on third.
Okay.
And then
you will go Randuin's fourth.
Blood. I would go probably Randuin's. I think I go Randuin's in fourth. And now this is gonna depend, because if you look at their comp, this is another thing. If you look at their comp, their main AP threat is Fizz, right? Like it's Fizz and Mel. Yeah. Mel's support, she's fed, so she kind of hurts a little bit. It's not like she doesn't hurt at all. But the Fizz is like, what does Fizz do? He's single target damage, yeah? So it's kind of unlikely that he's going to be using his burst on you.
Ooh.
So you actually don't need magic resist as much because of that, right? He's a single target damage dealer. So
because
if
he's playing with cooldowns instead of auto attacks. And auto attackers will burn tanks, but mages should save their cooldowns for the real one they want to kill.
Depends on the mage, right? Like if you have like a Cassiopeia who's like a lot of like low cooldown spells, like a lot of AoE, a lot of sustained damage, it's different. But Fizz, like he's based on his ultimate. Whoever he ults, that's who he's going for. And then he's gonna flip on them, and then he's gonna back off an hourglass and disengage until his cooldowns come back up. Okay. That usually means one target's gonna die, and if he's gonna choose, right, if you were the Fizz, you're probably not gonna try to ult the tanks, yeah? Like that doesn't make sense. So because of that reason, you actually don't need magic resist as badly here. So yeah, I would have gone Randuin's fourth for the crit. And then fifth item, you could have gone like
Frozen?
A magic resist item here, like, or just like a Jack Show works too. Like your build wasn't that bad this game. Like I like a Jack Show here last just to get some magic resist and tank. Mainly because your goal this game, like I said, is to be a frontline, right? You're not playing for damage. You don't want damage items as much because you're really trying to play off your team's backline. Like if you build damage here, you're just gonna get one tapped, right? These guys are all pretty fed. They've got a lot of items. If you don't have resistances, you're gonna die. So you want to build tanky here, and because of that Fizz being single target and it's support Mel, so it's not as scary as like a mid lane Mel, you really want to itemize the random wins for the anti-crit here, and then you can work a little bit of magic resist just for the residual poke damage that these three champions have. These guys.
So my fourth is Randuin, Omen, and fifth could be more physical. It could be Frozen Heart or it could be magic resist. So I have
so fifth could be magic resist or straight up AD item, depending on how confident you feel, right? Because I like the magic damage it's present this game, but it's not that scary. Like you don't really care that much about it. If you get a feel like your team lacks damage, like you can't finish out the Sejuani, or maybe they're not playing as good and you want to take matters into your own hand, you could go a fifth item here for AD. You know, maybe like Shojin or something if you already have Blood Mail.
Right.
That kind of thing.
But you wouldn't go Frozen
if your
Heart?
team's in the game, I don't like Frozen Heart because it just doesn't give you health. Frozen Heart is a good item to go when you are playing to like have a cheap spike as fast as possible. Like you need to have an item right now because Baron's up and they're gonna fight it. Then you could go it, and if it has value versus their comp. But if you look at their comp, doesn't auto attack really, doesn't really auto attack. This is the only person that auto attacks. None of these guys, none of these four auto attack. Only this guy does.
Would you just say it's better for me to just remove it from my options? Because I saw it from your guide and I wanted to put it there. It was probably niche. You probably wrote that it was niche. And I was like, okay, I need to consider this. Just remove it for now.
Yes.
Because it's too advanced for me to hit that power spike of Frozen Heart where I just need that little discounted item.
And I would say, like, in terms of just builds overall, like I see looking at the lethality builds, those kind of come when you're more advanced at Urgot. I'd say if you're a beginner, especially a beginner to League, I think by far the best build, especially in lower elos, is just this like tank raid boss build where all the items give health.
I was trying to
health
learn
is just really what makes Urgot tanky.
Okay.
you can play it. It's just lethality Urgot is very high risk and very high reward, right? You do crazy damage, but you're really squishy. And Urgot as a champion, like he has to go in, right? He's got to be in the thick of it to get his damage off. He's got to E in and be there, right? Okay. So usually, if you're not snowballing super hard, you're so squishy that if you go lethality, you just get one tap, and you can just trade 1-for-1 at max.
Okay.
So this bruiser build where these items give health, I think this build is a much more consistent build to just like carrying as Urgot, especially in lower elos where you need a little bit more wiggle room to make mistakes. You got a little more HP to work with to be tankier.
And Rukern, how commonly should I take Koenig Rukern?
So don't think of it like that. Just think of it like, look at their champions. Do they have burn? Then I go Fawn. Do they have burst and not much burn? Like they have like a Luden's like Lux or something, or like I don't know, whatever, like some burst AP mage that doesn't really do a lot of sustained damage, not like a lot of damage over time than Rukern. Like Fizz, for example, is a really good champion. If you needed more magic resist this game, Fizz is a good champion as an example of when you should go Rukern, because he doesn't have a lot of burn. He has no burn actually. Well, he has very little burn, and he has very little like sustained damage to like stack up your Fawn. But he has a lot of upfront burst with his ultimate, so that's what Rukern is good for. But if you're versed like, you know, like a Brand with the Liandry's, you know, like he presses one ability on you, and you have this burn that just lasts for like 10 years, even after he's used his ability on you. Because his passive and his Liandry's, that's a good example to go Force of Nature, because you can stack that a lot quicker.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's just a good rule of thumb for those kind of items. And it's the same thing for Deadmans and Randuins. I like Deadmans better just because it gives you a lot of proactivity. But if they have 2+ crit, then Randuins just outvalues it because, 2+ crit, right?
Oh, outvalues which, what?
Deadman's Plate.
As a fourth.
Generally, I like Deadman's Plate. I like Deadman's Plate better, but if they have 2+ crit users, then Randuins is better. As a third or fourth or fifth item.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
What do you do at minute 45 when you have Jack Shows, Overlord, Sterax, Black Cleaver, and Force of Nature, and double legendary tabbies? What do I do with 5k gold?
You buy pots and you pray you win.
That's it? Just keep
There's
buying
not much you
pots?
can do. Well, what was your full build?
Um,
Say that one more
Ja-
time for me. Sorry.
Jack Show, Overlord Bloodmail, Force of Nature, Starrock, Black Cleaver, Super Tabbies.
Yeah, at that point, that's a pretty much cap build.
Okay.
You can
No
flex.
replacements?
I would say that's pretty solid. As the game goes on, is if you can see one damage type is like clearly prevalent, like one person is like super smurfing and they do the most damage, like they do the most like AP damage or whatever, then you can like maybe swap to like double tank items for like double magic resist item, or you
Right.
can swap to like an AD item if you feel like you need a bit more juice, like here, and you feel like your comp's running out of steam and you don't have the damage to kill their front line. Then
Oh,
you
yeah.
can try to opt into maybe like a damage item yourself, but you're just
Okay.
basically playing it off the game, right? Like just always want to ask yourself for these like decisions on what item to buy and when. Like what is my goal right now? What is the enemy's goal? Like what does their comp do? And what do we do? And what item is good against what they want to do and helps amplify what we want to do, you know?
Yeah.
And this is it's hard to do that. If
Yeah, I
you're
have a
into the game,
knowledge
don't get
gap
me
there,
wrong.
but
It's
I
very
understand.
hard. Yeah,
I understand
there's a
what
lot
you're
of knowledge
saying.
gap. And you don't sell boots, by the way, because mobility is so valuable in Urgot.
I did
Like,
that on
you don't ever sell boots.
I did it on
Don't do
Alawi yesterday, and I went from 400 move speed, and I replaced it with a 4%
Yeah.
move speed item. I went from 400 to 3. I lost 50 for selling the boots, and then I
Yeah.
regained like 14, so I lost 36 move speed. It felt like I was Giga Chad dunk walking. It was so bad.
Yeah, but like it's like even if it's like you watch Dragon Ball Z ever? It's
No.
like when they go there's like the thing where they go Super Saiyan, like they like power up super hard and they just keep powering up. But each time they power up, they only get stronger. They don't get faster. That's kind of what like selling boots is for Urgot. Like you can get so tanky and so strong, but if they just choose to not fight you and walk away, what can you do? You know?
Okay,
or they
yeah.
like they just like force a fight like away from you. You're slowly crawling to the fight, like, oh wait, I'm almost there, please, and the fight's over and you lose the game, you know?
Yeah.
Movement speed is the most important stat late game in general, and especially on champions that are slow and don't have built-in movement speed items like Urgot, who just value movement speed so much anyways, right?
Yep.
Like if you're an ADC, you have movement speed in like your Phantom Dancer or whatever, you can afford to sell more your boots late game because your items give you more movement speed and you're not as reliant. But Urgot, no, keep your
Okay,
boots.
got it. One more
Gotta keep your
question
boots.
about the hyper late game. When I'm already max level 18 and I already have my full build and I already have enough for elixirs, I should stop hitting creeps except when I really see nobody else is doing it, correct? Like minions, sorry.
Sorry, say it one more time. All right, turn it for me.
I have max gold, max XP. And there's no point in farming anymore.
Yeah, at that case, when you have nothing to farm, let your carries get farm and just focus on your positioning.
Yeah, so-
Positioning is like everything when you get that point in the game.
So I start shadowing and just trying to min-max the opportunity of breakouts, of fight
Less than
breakouts.
3.
Yes. Yes.
And hide
Just
my
want to be
bot.
there first. Yeah. Try to bait them in. Make sure you're able to impact every fight. That's what makes players really good at the game. Like once you really play League and really understand it, you kind of get a sense of like the flow of the game. Like when is the next play gonna happen? Where is it gonna happen? And who's gonna be in it? And like as you just play more, you get more sense of that. You can kind of just know where to be when you need to be. Like you know where the next fight's gonna break out. Like if you're watching the game here, like as we play here, like we can see them coming mid. We know that stuff's gonna happen mid, right? So like
Yes.
just getting a sense of like when the game is gonna break out here. Like, oh, I should be mid right now helping them, you know? This kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, just getting a sense, understanding the game flow, and it's not easy to do, don't get me wrong. It's very hard to like just learn that, especially like if you're a newer player, but that's really what you're angling towards, just understanding when the play is going to be happen and making sure you are in a position to like potentially impact that play. You just always want to put yourself in a position to be able to affect the play, no matter what it is or where it is, like as much as you can, right? Every single thing you can do, every single small inch, every single small percentage that you can control, you want to control it, you want to min-max it, and that's really what challenger players just do better. They just min-max everything, they are just on every timer, they know exactly what they need to do and where to be, how to punish mistakes, so that everything goes punished. If you make a mistake, boom, they're there to punish it, instantly win the game, they don't make any mistakes, close out the game, you can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's really the angle you're trying to do as an optimal League player, or the angle you're going for as an optimal League player.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
We said we're maybe gonna do 2. I don't think there's any point There's no
I agree.
need,
That
in
was, I
fact,
feel like we got a lot up there.
to
Yeah.
do a second VOD review. This was
Yep.
so helpful. I'm actually super eager to start trying it out.
Yeah, let's go, man. So just to give you guys a recap of Urgot, what I want you to really focus on is you're already doing a good job of this. Abuse that level 1, and then just focus on not dying. Like, don't have to be ahead, like I said. Just focus on not falling behind, going even between levels 3 to 8, and try to use slow pushes and freezes to not fall behind on those pockets. Right, that's your 2 main tools that you're looking for.
Can I
And
try
by the
to
way, the level 3 to 8.
Can I try to
Yeah, go ahead.
summarize it and you tell me if I'm missing something?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
of course.
can,
That's a better idea. Great.
Okay, so I'm strong at level 1 and 2. I can bully, and then focus on wave manipulation, focus on wave manipulation so I can do a crash and a safe TP. Stop keeping a lot of gold in my inventory when I have clear recall timings. I don't need to get ahead from level 3 to 8. My power spike is 9, where I max W, which can allow me to trade much better. Specifically 9 plus Black Cleaver together. And it doesn't work that well, right, when we watch each other. Try to rush Black Cleaver with safe farm, either Frozen Lane or a Crash Bounce. Once I have Cleaver and W, I can start do W and auto attack alternation to win trades better. That's when I can start bullying again, but I should try to play it safer from 3 to 8. We almost always go for the blue rune page with the magical footwear and the approach velocity. Teleport and ignite is based on the matchup. If I have teleport, I can use it for certain really good opportunities, but I shouldn't solely rely on it when I can accurately predict future potential conflict between my team and theirs. It's better if I'm theirs because I'm the primary counter engage tool that can help get play front to back counter engage and tank a bit for my team so that my DPS can get their damage in on enemy targets. And then I should try to use the silence, which is actually my major team fighting contribution, more than damage and more than tanking. The fear, more than the tanking is more than the damage in particular. And I don't need to get ahead from level 3 to 8. I'm trying to save farm.
Yes, perfect. And the overall message, if there was one thing you want to take away, I want you to take away from this coaching session. The overall thing that I tell everybody is that it's just all about consistency and risk versus reward. Those two concepts will take you so far in League. If you focus on being consistent and you ask yourself before, like, you don't have to like physically like be like, oh, like every single time, but like just for a general sense of like, is this a good play? What does this actually get me? First, how likely is it for me to die here? Or how likely is it if I do this, my teammate dies on the other end, you know? And you just slowly pair those two concepts together and you'll climb a ton, I promise.
Okay.
But yeah, that summarization was really good. I like that.
Quante, thank you so much. It was super helpful. Great coaching, and I'm eager to put it to the test.
I'm glad. Thank you so much for having me, bro. I'm looking forward to your games, man.
Hey, I appreciate your time and your great coaching a lot, Quante.
Of course,
talk again sometime, and good luck in everything you do. Talk to you later, man.
You too, man. Good luck with your games. Take it easy.
Thank you. Peace.